I don't want to really even talk about the next story, but I guess we have to because people are
I don't know.
asking us to
We got to be
talk about
fair.
it.
Yeah, we got to be fair and
Got
not
to be
biased.
fair.
I got some thoughts about that.
Okay. Well, it's being reported by Page Six that legendary hip hop producer Pete Rock is set to sue Nas over Illmatic royalties. So here it is in the article by Page Six. They said groundbreaking hip hop producer Pete Rock says that Nas hasn't paid him a cent in royalties for his work on the rapper's era-defining double platinum album Illmatic, and he finally is gearing up to sue. Page Six is told. Pete Rock and his attorneys claim that the Queen's rapper, Nasir Jones, signed a contract that would allow the producer to cut a cut of the proceeds from the classic track, The World Is Yours, a total that's now in the millions of dollars. And we're told that the lawyer of Pete Rock has repeatedly demanded that Nas honor the alleged deal to no avail. Rock has a writing credit on the tune, the only single in the 1994 LP that actually went gold, and produced it, and even provided vocals. Now we're told that Pete Rock's legal team is prepared to file a lawsuit in January. Let me go on and continue this. And it says, we're told that Pete Rock told Page 6, Nas and his people have stonewalled him since 1994. My New Year's resolution is to be compensated for the hard work on Illmatic. The track is the song most sampled from the hip hop artist from Nas's catalog, according to insiders. It has been sampled by Jay-Z, Eminem, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, and the late Mac Miller. The song was also used in the film Antoine Fisher, directed and starring Denzel Washington. Apparently, Nas has a better relationship with other blue chip producers who worked on his album, DJ Premier, who had produced tracks on Illmatic. Guest on tracks Wave God, which was featuring ASAP Rocky from the surprise album he dropped on Christmas Magic. Okay, what do you think about this story? Exactly.
It's very problematic and I don't like it. I don't like it for a few reasons. On a personal note, that's the record that made me really fall in love with hip hop and dig into hip hop and dig into the guys that came out before Nas was that record. So I hate to see the two creators of probably my personal favorite hip hop record at odds, but also too, Mike, gotta kind of be honest with you. Kind of felt like there was always a rift because the only pairing that these two have together is this all-time great classic pairing with no other pairings. You and I have spoken behind the scenes and on camera about why the hell Nas and Pete Rock ain't worked together. There's obviously something going on. But let me tell you who I'm siding with though. I'm siding with Pete Rock. Nas need to pay Pete Rock if he hasn't paid Pete Rock. This is utterly ridiculous to me if the things that Pete Rock are saying are not true, because this just goes against, quite frankly, a lot of the things that Nas has been representing in terms of being anti-establishment. And just on a hip hop level, isn't he the last guy you would expect to hear getting sued from somebody that he's worked with? Wouldn't he be on that list of people? It's like, ain't nobody gonna sue Nas about no money for no beat. A, because he has such a reputation. B, he has the money, Mike. He been had the money for a long time and got the tech money. He need to cut this check and make this go away. And I mean that. You need to cut the check and make it go away.
Well, I mean, now that you say that, I just think it's very interesting that Pete Rock is being, just basically blocked out of the process, and it seems like there's no level of transparency there, but somehow Pete Rock has been involved in a lot of the anniversaries of Illmatic, right? And we're talking about 27 years. So how long has this been going on where he hasn't been getting the proper royalties? And
Mike,
has he expressed his grievances even when they meet up for these anniversaries and stuff?
this is what I mean about there's obviously something that's happened in some rift somewhere. Mike, he is literally the only producer that Nas has an all-time great record with that he never went back to. He's gone back to everybody he's done work with. Primo, LES,
Well, he
Large
has
Pro.
something on the Lost Tapes too, but again, they made a big deal about that. And I follow Pete Rock on Instagram, and Pete Rock was, excited about that record too.
I don't
So
even know how that
that's what's
record.
confusing about this and the fact that
Like,
there has been some workings. I have heard, and I think it might be from MC Search. Y'all let me know in the chat if if y'all have heard this story too. But there was an issue even originally with payment from that beat before Illmatic came out. So I remember hearing those stories too, and I always attributed that story and how it went down to the fact that they never worked with each other moving forward. But again, I mean, Nas wasn't working with Search anymore, so I don't know. I mean, it's just, and then this comes out, and I don't know, man. It's like, it's confusing. Is the grievance with Columbia or is it with Nas?
That's what I mean. If
Who owns
Pete Rock
this?
is saying it's true, because Pete Rock is not saying it's Columbia. He's saying it's Nas's people. That's why I said if that part of it is true, because that really is the key part is, well, who's really responsible for this?
You see, Jay Mayer says Nas doesn't own Illmatic royalties, though. And that's the interesting part where it's like, we need some sort of clarification. I haven't been on, Pete Rock's Instagram or anything. I don't know if he's providing any clarification on it. But I think a lot of people in the chat are saying similar things. They think that the owners of these records who have the ability to give royalties on these records are Columbia, Sony, possibly Search, who knows? But the fact, like you said, Nas is getting pulled to the carpet for this. It's like, I don't know.
Let's stop for a second.
We need more details.
We do need more details, but here's what I'm going to submit to everybody about all of that. So let's say Sony getting paid, Columbia getting paid, Searchlight Publishing getting paid. After they get paid, is Nas still receiving a royalty check for The World Is Yours? And is he shared any of that money with Pete Rock? Because even if we can break it down the channel some more, if Nas is receiving royalties from The World Is Yours, no matter where it's falling on the food chain or who's getting paid before he gets that check, if he's been getting those checks, and Pete Rock, who has the production credit, has the producer, has a writing credit because he is helping sing the hook, is not being paid, that's wrong.
But that's what we don't know, though.
Right. We don't know if Nas is getting. What I'm saying is that regardless of who owns it, Nas has been getting paid for The World Is Yours the entire time.
We don't know that.
In form or fashion, and we need to find out where it lies.
But we don't know that. And see, the thing is, basically the way a lot of these deals are structured, the producers get paid before the artists do. So, like you said, if it's getting trickled down to Searchlight Publishing or whoever, we're just saying, I don't know the particulars of it. If it's coming down from ASCAP, BMI, and then it goes down through Sony, Columbia, Searchlight Publishing, then some of that trickle down needs to go to Pete Rock. It's not on the artist in getting their royalties to go back and give it to the producer. That comes from the publishing companies themselves. I think that this kind of gives the notion that Nas owns this. And we don't know that. I don't know any of it.
Illmatic got put together on some hood shit, Mike. So there might be some agreements and handshakes that was in place about that we may not know about. Illmatic got built out like that. This is before the industry was the machine. This is Nas going up the Mount Vernon and chilling in Pete Rock's garage. This is Nas going to Q-Tip's basement. You get what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't the industry really involved outside of Search and Faith.
It's unfortunate.
Faith Newman, not Faith the singer.
Yeah, right. It's unfortunate, and I hope that, like you said, I hope it gets resolved. Like I said, to even be able to place any kind of judgment or give an opinion, I need a little bit more details on the actual ownership of the record. And, if Nas owns Illmatic and everything that it has outright, then I get it. But if that's not the case, then there's some other grievances outside of just Nas. I mean, kind of like the Travis Scott conversation we had. I don't like the fact that the star has to take on the burden of a team effort. You know what I'm saying? He's not the only player in this, but in this article, seems like Nas is the only player. It's almost like it's written in a way where it's like you and I write a song. Well, I rap a song, and you write the hook, you produce the song. I go to public with the song, and it goes double platinum, and I'm not breaking off any of that money with you. That's the way it's written. But that's not the case of how this was put together.
I get all of that too, and Nas has for the most of his career been like a really quiet guy. But what I'm really trying to stress is that like I wouldn't even have let this gotten to this point if I was him, because it doesn't benefit him at all, even if he's right in the situation or has nothing. It just doesn't benefit him.
Yeah.
And so about it not benefiting him, I would have circumvented it.
I think that at least the line of communication should be open. Like, even if, like you said, that isn't the case, or even if it is the case, it shouldn't get to a point where Pete Rock can't get in touch with anybody.
Right,
it has to go to the media.
And I hate to say it, it's like sometimes a couple $1 million will just make all this go away, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like behind the scenes, like a couple $1 million make this probably go away behind the scenes.
Everybody in the chat's mentioning MC Search, Sony, and Columbia. And I do think it's interesting.
And that's viable, but it's like we don't know enough. We can only address what got stated. What got stated was Nas.
No, that's real. But again, like you said, we don't know enough. And but it's interesting that, like you said, he's the only person stated. And the fact that even in the article, I mean, you would think that if Nas somehow bought that album, right? Which I have a whole soapbox about masters and, artists from a certain era. You're not getting that stuff. But if somehow he did, I think that it would have been indicated in this article that back in 2017, Nas bought his masters for Illmatic and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's the case. I don't know. But
I think he's cool with not owning the masters till Illmatic.
It is what it is. I mean, anybody who release something on a major label in the 90s or even 80s and it's huge, you're not going to own that stuff. You're just not. They'll let you own the stuff hereafter.
Does Michael Jackson own Thriller?
He probably does, but he had collateral. This is Michael Jackson's situation. We like to throw around Michael Jackson.
Didn't walk into Thriller owning Thriller. He was getting the best deal.
He got the best deal, period. But when he was able to negotiate, when he got the Beatles catalog, people wanted to make deals. They didn't want him to have that catalog outright. So Sony wanted to be like, look, we'll give you whatever you want for half. That's the deal. But if you don't have that kind of collateral and you don't have that kind of Michael Jackson star power, you're not getting your masters. It's not going to happen.
Better be Prince, better be Michael Jackson.
Because they don't have to sell it to you.
Yeah.
And honestly, when they do sell it to you, they might off you, allegedly. Who knows?
Special.
So, but even with Michael Jackson's Epic deal, though, Joe was able to leverage their Motown success and their Motown deal to get that deal at CBS that later became Epic. So, yeah, I mean, that's a little different. But when you jumping in your first contract, you ain't got no negotiating power.
I think Raekwon talked about that during the verses the best, about like the lesson learned about the route of getting on and dealing with the industry and then being independent and being out on the own and doing it for yourself. But he was talking about like, no, everybody got to take that lesson though.
I mean, as fans, we get that classic material, and for the artist, like he said, it's that lesson. And you pick up and move on. Unfortunately, the way the industry works a lot of the times, they get your best work. And then by the time you get to the point where you know enough and you're able to move on your own and own your stuff, they've moved on to the next person and they put all their resources in that person's best work. And you know what I'm saying? And you're just left with your hardcore fans.
And right. And also, too, Mike, you want to know why he may not care? Illmatic never moved like that. It's still one of his lower selling projects. Probably.
They're saying it's double platinum here. You see that?
No, Mike. Listen to what I was about to say. Yeah. If you actually go from calendar year to calendar year, if you go from April 94 to April 95, yeah.
You know what? Since
it's got a Thriller, Mike, it's got a Thriller feel. It don't got Thriller numbers attached.
Oh, no, of course not. It's game changing. But I think that the aura of this album, and especially like with the resurgence of vinyl and people buying vinyl again, I think that spiked the numbers too. Because Illmatic's one of those albums that you can go buy in vinyl. And I'm sure people have.
Mike, you just made me think I need to go buy Illmatic on vinyl when we get done here.
I'm sure a lot of people have though, but I'm saying like when I read double platinum, I was like, damn, I didn't know Illmatic was double platinum. But
Yeah,
in today's
300,000
era, I
units
can
the
see
first
that.
year, Mike. 300,000 units the first year.
Yeah, I'm sure it's done like 300,000 units last year or something. They said the
Right.
top selling vinyl was Kendrick's Damn last year though.